Just so we're all on the same page, we do all realize this is a musical, right?
So what is it you do?
I'm a driver.
Oh, like a chauffeur. You drive around important people.
I guess I do.
Anyone I'd know?
I hope not.
Well, aren't you mysterious?
Maybe.
Maybe. So when was the last time you hit the road just for fun?
Yesterday.
I'm jealous. Sometimes all I want to do is head west on 20 in a car I can't afford with a plan I don't have. Just me, my music, and the road.
I'd like that.
Baby Driver. It's Edgar Wright's latest movie starring Ansel Elgort as Baby, somebody who's driving the escape vehicle for criminals and also trying to escape the life himself. It's an old school Hollywood musical where the iPods do the singing and the cars do the dancing. You're going to want to sing along? Well, here's 5 things you might want to know about Baby Driver. Ooh, look, somebody made a movie for me. This is one of those movies that just feels like it was designed to push all my buttons. I loved Baby Driver. Let's go through the reasons. Number 1, we talked about the musical thing. I love musicals. Here's what I love about them, and here's how this movie compares. Because it's not an outright musical as you would think of it. It's an action musical in many ways. But it has that same suspension of disbelief that you use in musicals to buy into people breaking out in song. There are things that happen in this world that don't make sense logically. They're not realistic. They're not authentic to the world around us. But they're authentic to this musical world that we're living in. And if you're able to embrace that, it's so much fun. There's a euphoria that goes with it. It's that idea of walking into a room with your own theme song and everybody knowing it. It feels really good. And because all that musical stuff works, and by the way, not just the beats of the musical, but also the song selection, the choices of the songs, the way these songs play with the energy of the action, all of it works together in this beautiful symphony, and I loved it. I also really love the performances here, especially Ansel Elgort and Jon Hamm. They are perfect. Elgort plays an introverted action hero. That's such a great concept, and he does it so well. It's understated, but it's beautiful, and the emotion and the character development of it works. Jon Hamm is great here as well, doing something I don't know that I've really seen him do. He's kind of messing up his persona a little bit, and I really enjoyed the performance. That's not even to mention Kevin Spacey, who's great as always. Jamie Foxx, who is as good as he's ever been, probably since Collateral. Lily James is wonderful, and the chemistry between them is great. I just really feel like the performances here all come together to do something special. The movie's called Baby Driver, and we haven't even talked about the driving yet. It was spectacular. Now, admittedly, the best driving is right up front. That first chase scene is possibly the best car chase scene I've ever seen on screen. Maybe that's recency bias. I don't know. All I know, it was incredible. The way it was shot, some innovative ways they used the vehicles to do things I'd never seen done in an escape scene before. I thought it was spectacular. I would have liked to have seen that continued through the whole movie, but I don't know how you live up to that first one. The others are great. They just don't quite live up to the energy of that first one. I will say there is a foot chase scene later in the movie that almost lives up. It's as incredible as the car escape stuff, that foot escape stuff. And I think it has to do with geography. I think it has to do with the director, cinematographer, storyboard artist, whoever, all working together to understand what the audience needs to know to be invested in this escape. We know where the people are, we know where they need to be, we know where their obstacles are, and because we have that full understanding, we are right in it. So it's clear that the movie really spoke to me on a visceral level, just like an excited euphoria level. But here's the thing. It also spoke to me on an intellectual level. I love what this movie had to say about escape and what you can escape and what you cannot escape. And the way it deals with the escaping of consequences is really interesting, especially towards the end of this movie. And I love what it had to say about that. It does something not a lot of movies do. And I've actually heard some people complain about this part, but I loved it because it emphasized the theme in a way that I don't think I was prepared for. And overall makes this a smarter and more emotionally stable movie than I think it would have been otherwise. And you've reached the point in the review where I tack one little negative thing onto a movie I loved. And this is actually a decent sized one, except it's just one little thing. just one character thing right at the end of the movie. There's a character motivation that is not explained and makes no sense to the story. And if you want to check out the spoiler cast for the podcast, we talk about it in detail. I'm not going to give it away here other than to say a character makes a decision at the end of this movie that makes no sense to who we know this character to be. And it's not explained in any way that is satisfying. Because of that and that alone, this movie ends up not being a perfect film. I loved Baby Driver. Almost everything about it except for that one thing. And even that isn't enough to bring it down to less than an A. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. We'll get to the best ever challenge here in a bit. Before we do, though, I want to let you know if you want to connect further, let's do it. Hit me up on Twitter. I'm Aaron Dicer, at Aaron Dicer, AARONDICER on Twitter. You can also check out the podcast that I mentioned, SiftPop, SiftPop. We have both a non-spoiler and then we also do spoilers in a separate file, so you can listen to either of those for the movies maybe you have or haven't seen. Again, whatever podcast player you use, if you do the podcast thing, just search for SiftPop, SiftPop. And of course, subscribe on YouTube, please. I'd love that. Hang out in the comments. Let's keep building this community. Having a fun time doing it. Speaking of building a community, man, I love our Patreon community. The people who support this channel make it possible for you. Awesome people. If you'd like to be a part of that group who's giving, starting at $3 a month to make sure this YouTube channel keeps going, I'd appreciate it. It's patreon.com/yourmoviefriend. Lots of fun perks there at different levels of giving. We have a great time. You can check that out again, patreon.com/yourmoviefriend. And thanks for going there, checking it out. I appreciate it. All right, on to the best ever challenge. This is where we name the best movie ever in a particular category. You can try to guess my choice and then leave your choice in the comments as well. Let's just go ahead and do best Kevin Spacey movies. He's been good in a lot of things. What is the best ever Kevin Spacey movie? I'm going to have to go with the one that's really good all the way through, but has a little bit of a limp ending. Take a guess at mine in the comments. First person to get it right will get that point. And as always, here's 5 extra seconds. Actually, like 20 extra seconds now. Here's some extra time to hit subscribe. Just click my face.